Hey guys, so last class we talked about long division, and truth is when you divide any polynomial, long division will always work. Now, of course, we're talking about a lot of little mistakes that we can make mistakes in between. But there's another type of division that I feel a little bit easier, more practical, but unfortunately it doesn't always work. Now, why doesn't it always work? Well, because in this case, to make it work, to make synthetic work, you need to be dividing by a linear polynomial. So in other words, x to the first. Okay, so once we start dividing by x squared, things like that, you have to do long division. But here, if it's linear, if it's x to the first, we definitely can do synthetic. So there's a practice problem right here in our notes. So we have 4x squared plus 3x minus 5, all divided by x plus 2, which means we can use synthetic because x is to the first, not because the coefficient is 1 in front of x. Let's get that straight, even though our examples are that way. It's x to the first, okay? So here is the idea. We're going to set this up. In this little box, we're actually going to have our factor, or what makes it zero, our zero, anything you want to say to help you remember that. So we look at the denominator there, or what we're dividing by, and we say, what makes that zero? Well, in that case, it's -2. Now, where are these other numbers coming from? Well, these guys are your coefficients in your polynomial that we are dividing into. So you see how I have the 4, the 3, and the -5. This is how we set it up. Now, next movement. What we're going to do is we're going to take our first value, or our first coefficient, and bring it straight down. See how it's straight down. Awesome, 4. Now, what we're going to do after that is we're going to multiply that 4 by -2. And what do we get? We get -8. Now, this is my favorite part of why I love synthetic, because we add straight down. Okay, 3 plus -8 is -5. And again, I multiply. I put my value here, which is 10, and I add straight down, which is 5. Now, I always write things underneath to allow me to remember what number means what. The last number is always your remainder. Your next number after that is your constant. And then we keep going up. So this 4 here is actually x to the first. Okay, so when we write our answer here, we're going to have 4x minus 5, remainder 5, and then the sophisticated way, we divide by our divisor, right? Perfect. Now let's try some stuff on our own. Okay, not on our own, but together. Now, example 4, I'm actually going to do even a step further because I want you to factor actually all the way. Lots of times directions will just say do synthetic once or just divide. In this case, I added to the directions and I wanted you to factor all the way down. Okay, so let's set this up. So what makes my divisor 0 is 5. And then I'm using my coefficients in front. So 1, 1, -22, and -40. Okay, I put my first coefficient straight down. And now I multiply. 5 times 1 is 5. And I add straight down, which is 6. Do it again. 5 times 6 is 30. Add straight down. I get 8. Multiply again. 8 times 5 is 40. Add straight down, we get 0. Now, this is where I want you to keep this in mind. Remember, this is the remainder. This is the constant. This is x, and this is x squared. Okay. Now, when the remainder is 0, it means it's a factor. It means we can factor it more. Okay. So right now, if I break this down and I say 1x squared plus 6x plus 8, no remainder, right? Could I factor that more? Remember, in my directions, I added to factor it more. Well, yes, this x squared plus 6x plus 8 factors into x plus 2 times x plus 4. So I'm factoring it all the way down, okay? So if I wanted my answer in factored form, first of all, I know that x minus 5 is a factor because that's what I first divided it with. And then I took the result of the synthetic and I factored it more into x plus 2 times x plus 4. And this would be my answer in factor form. We factored this cubic, okay? Awesome. Now in example 5, what's so different between example 5 and example 4 other than me not adding on directions, right? Well, if you think, just like we did with long division, we're missing a term. So when you missed a term, what did you do? We had to put 0 in that. So first things first, what makes the divisor 0? That would be 3. And then my coefficients are 1, -4, 0, -5, right? X cubed, x squared, x, and constant. In long division, when we forget to put that 0 in, we kind of notice our mistake because it doesn't line up nicely. But when synthetic, there's no way to know that you forgot something or you did a mistake until you get a wrong answer. So make sure you double check that missing term, okay? Go straight down. So we have 1. 3 times 1 is 3. -4 plus 3 is -1. 3 times -1 is -3. Add straight down. And then 3 times -3 is -9. And what do we get? We get -14. Now keep in mind, when we write our answer, I'm not doing factor anymore. Not to mention this is not a factor, so I can't factor it. So I'm just doing that division. That last number is the remainder, and we have a constant x to the first and x squared. Okay, so when we write our answer, and we're going to write it in the sophisticated way, our answer is x squared minus x minus 3. Okay, then we have this minus the remainder because it's a negative over the divisor of x minus 3. Okay. Now, example 6 has no tricks to it. I'm just showing you how synthetic is nice to do also because we can do it with degrees that are way higher, right? So again, same idea. What makes it 0 in the divisor? Well, that would be -3. Our coefficients, let's make sure that we're not skipping any, right? So 2, 5, -2, 2, -2, and 3. Okay, I have them all there. There's no missing term. Okay, straight down. 2. -3 times 2 is -6. Add, we get -1. Multiply, we get 3. Add, we get 1. Multiply, we get -3. Add, we get -1. -3 times -1 is 3. Add again, we get 1. -3, we get 0 again. That means x plus 3 is a factor. It means we could factor even more, right? Or not more, but this we could try to factor more. So remainder, constant, x squared, x cubed, and x to the 4th. Okay, so in my answer, because right now all I'm doing is dividing, I'm not worrying about factor form or anything. My answer is going to be 2x to the 4th minus x cubed plus x squared minus x plus 1. And then we don't need any remainder because it's 0. And this is our answer. Very good. So when the question is saying factored, it's making sure that you factor all the way down. Don't forget when you divide though, and it gives you remainder 0, that means it's a factor that must be in your factored answer. Okay. All right, let's try to get some practice on.